Namaskar. Welcome to Samvaad at Arunima Ankuran. On the occasion of National Legal Services Day, that is 9th November, we are having a conversation with Adv.Amol Jagtap to celebrate this day. A very warm welcome to you, Amol. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
Our guest, Advocate Amol Jagtap, is an advocate at Mumbai High Court. A word about Arunima Ankuran. This is an initiative for positive social change through self-development. The goal is greater well-being and happiness for all. At Arunima Ankuran, we believe that each person is unique and special in some way, that each person can make a difference, create an impact. That's what inspires us to keep going. So November 9 is celebrated as the National Legal Services Day to commemorate the Legal Services Authorities Act 1987, which led to the establishment of organizations providing free legal aid to the needy. Arunima Ankuran acknowledges and appreciates the role of lawyers who work tirelessly to protect the integrity and dignity of people who need their voices to be heard. So we are so happy to have a champion of the legal world here, a young, bright, first generation lawyer. Amol, just walk us quickly through your journey so far and then we'll get into the conversation.
First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude and thanks to your channel for inviting me on your channel. About me, I passed out from ILS Law College, Pune in 2017. And after 2017, I immediately started practicing in the Pune District Court for learning the trials. And thereafter, I completed my master's from Pune University Department of Law. And simultaneously, I gave the exam for NET, which is the National Eligibility Test. And I cracked NET in my first attempt itself while doing my LLM.
Wow.
And once I completed my master's and NET, I started practicing at the Bombay High Court, and later on, I shifted my practices to Supreme Court also. Currently, I'm practicing at the Bombay High Court itself, and I handle all kind of matters in Bombay High Court as a junior counsel over there as of today.
Wow. Oh, you have a long way to go. Amol, we can probably start talking about, as a lawyer so far, you have been dealing with so many different kinds of cases. Let's talk about the role of legal services in the life of a common citizen and the impact of, let's say, even one judgment on so many different lives.
It's a very good question. So as of today, when it comes to law, people are unaware of the basic things which are required in your day-to-day life. And unless and until you have a proper guidance in this field, nobody is expected to know everything. In our law, we have this saying that ignorance of law is not the excuse, but getting to know the law correctly and its correct interpretation and how the law applies, how is it applicable to you, your case, your scenario, the situation which you are in, is very important, and that can only be explained to you by a qualified lawyer who is trained in that profession. So therefore, understanding of legal process entirely is very important, but basic things when it comes to police officials, how to deal with police officials, if you are in some problem, what are your basic rights, those are very much important that every citizen should know. So for knowing that, at least the basic book which every citizen reads is our newspaper, daily newspaper. You can go through various case laws, various cases which happen day in and day out. And the one good thing about newspaper which I like, and sometimes it is wrong also, but one good thing is that they give the news in a very simplified manner. So even if you interpret it wrong, you will come to us with that news saying that this is the case law today which has happened and this is applicable to my case. You will at least have that basic knowledge. Now I can understand this from the newspaper. Now let us take guidance of a lawyer. So even if you're wrong, you will come to us, then we will tell you that your interpretation might be wrong, but the message which you are seeking
Hmm.
from that news article or newspapers
Hmm.
is correct.
Hmm.
So basically, having a knowledge of basic law is completely fine, but still get it confirmed through a qualified lawyer,
Hmm.
because your understanding and our understanding pertaining to the field of law and also the books and what the procedure
Hmm.
is completely different. So one basic thing which people should do is like be updated with the newspapers,
Hmm.
because then we cannot expect everybody to read all the books, because if you see the size of the books, then you might just ignore the thing and you might as well go to a lawyer and pay his consultancy fees and take the consultancy.
Absolutely. Hmm.
So after years of experience, we have this knack of explaining you everything in a very simplified manner. And once you are well versed with all the news articles, or at least have some friend
Hmm.
who is a good lawyer,
Hmm.
so people can explain, we can explain you the things which you don't know, or if you know partially, we can make you understand everything fully.
Yes. So, that image of lawyers, people should stay away from them. I think, Amol, you did a great job by just saying, befriend lawyers. They're useful people. They have knowledge that can help everyone. And especially, let's say one judgment, talk of any of your recent experiences and tell us how one judgment going through the right legal process, uh, asking for the help of a good lawyer can impact the life of so many different people.
One recent judgment, there are actually many. With the intervention of judiciary, also it got solved, and that was very important. So there was this family court case which I was handling,
Hmm.
and in family law, mostly what happens, husband and wife keep on fighting, and our endeavor is to solve the dispute and put an end to it.
Correct.
But sometimes the parties are adamant on troubling the other spouse
Hmm.
by constantly filing random applications, filing various cases. But in that case, the matter went on from trial court to high court to Supreme Court. Eventually, the judiciary had to intervene, and the judges of Honorable Supreme Court, they intervened in that matter and they put an end to it, saying that if you keep on fighting for all these years, you must understand one thing: the only benefiting party in that transaction are the lawyers, because they are going to charge you for their services. But the lawyers were also making an endeavor to put an end to it, but the parties sometimes they don't agree to a mutual settlement at all.
Hmm.
So this was one case which the judiciary intervened and say now we are putting a stay to it. And once the Supreme Court says,
Hmm.
there is no court beyond the Supreme Court. So even the parties had to concede to the settlement which was offered by the court.
Hmm.
And thereafter, it made a huge difference to the parties, because once the litigation ended,
Hmm.
both the parties contacted either of the lawyers and said that thankfully the court intervened and everything ended, because we were never going to stop. And now that we have stopped, we can see different phases of our life, and now we can
Hmm.
explore new things in our life. We can work. Our mind functions differently. We don't have
True.
anything behind at the back of the head that now we have to go to the court, now we have to attend the proceedings, now we have to meet the lawyers, brief them or pay them. So your normal life gets affected when it comes to cases. But then once you have a good guidance in it, good lawyers,
Hmm.
and basically good guidance from good lawyers is what I would say.
Yes.
Once you have that and make an endeavor to, when it comes to family law, it can be settled.
Hmm.
For example, the recent CLAT case, what we had what I had argued in the Nagpur High Court, and
Hmm.
later on it went to the Supreme Court.
Right.
In that matter, also, there was no other party which was disputing anything. So, therefore, in that matter, which comes under the civil law,
Hmm.
there's no point of settlement. All you have to go to the court is through merits.
Hmm.
And the reason why we approached Nagpur High Court, because the candidate was from Nagpur.
Hmm.
And once we filed the petition in Nagpur High Court, and once we pointed out the basic flaw in the CLAT question paper itself, the court also understood that this is a legitimate cause,
Hmm.
and therefore the court gave a notice to the CLAT organization that you have to explain this, otherwise if you are completely wrong, and
Hmm.
the mistake was on the face of it. So therefore there was no running around from that mistake, because once the papers have been published, they cannot say that our question was this, but the interpretation of that question was something else, because they had given a paragraph which gave the interpretation also as to how do you decipher the answer out of it.
Hmm.
So therefore, there was no running away from it. And eventually, everybody knows that what was the result in the Supreme Court also. Eventually, all the candidates received good marks, and that gave them opportunity to even find better colleges. All the colleges are good, but in our law faculty and law students, they always try for higher college in ranking.
Hmm.
So therefore, everybody got an equal opportunity to explore their options when the marks were revised. So until and unless you take that action of going to the court, even
Hmm.
though people say don't go to court, the
Correct.
court is the only thing which can give you a order which is executable and nobody can deny it.
Hmm.
So therefore, the difference which you were asking, it's a huge difference. All the students could revise their colleges.
Hmm.
They could go to a better college according to them.
Hmm.
That I had an aspiration of going to uh, rank number one college, number two college, number three college. So
Hmm.
they could do that just because of the order of court. So therefore, that judgment helped a lot of people, a lot of law students itself, because they went to the court.
Hmm.
Had it been if they would have taken up the discussions with CLAD, well, I don't think so how fruitful they would be, because then until and unless the court orders, nobody follows.
That's true.
So therefore, having a good guidance in this field is also important.
Hmm.
And plus, how the clients are, how you deal with the lawyer, how you explain your problem to the lawyer, because you have to put a very simplified version of your problem before the
Hmm.
lawyer. Sometimes clients come to us with the solutions itself. So we always tell them, you don't go to a doctor with the medicine that I have to take this. You always go to a doctor by telling them problem that this is my pain. So same is the case with us. You just tell your problem to us, then we will make an
Hmm.
endeavor to solve it to our full capacity.
And you were just talking about how you approach the court and everything. So for a lay person, Amol, the only exposure to court scenes is the movies. And
Yes.
that is what we see. But you're a lawyer and you've been practicing and you're a new generation lawyer. So just walk us through the process of how you deal with a case, how you prepare, how you present it, and that whole process.
So basically, whenever any client comes in our door, so they tell us that this is the problem.
Hmm.
So first of all, we figure out in which court his problem would be addressed.
Okay.
That is the jurisdiction, and which is the court where you should go. For example, if any person has the apprehension of arrest because he thinks that something has happened in my life due to which I could be arrested.
Hmm.
So that is when you go for an anticipatory bail.
Hmm.
In Marathi, we call it Atak Purva Jamin.
Hmm.
So anticipatory bail is always filed in Court of Sessions,
Hmm.
but this is pertaining to a criminal side
Hmm.
matter. For example, a party says that I want to take divorce.
Hmm.
So if there is a family court available in the jurisdiction of wherever the parties are staying, then definitely the matter would go to a family court.
Hmm.
If, for example, tomorrow a client says that there is a recovery of 5 lakhs from this person is not giving me my money back, then it goes to a civil court
Hmm.
of the pecuniary jurisdiction. That means whichever court has the jurisdiction of dealing matters of an amount of rupees 5 lakhs
Hmm.
recovery.
Hmm.
Then pecuniary jurisdiction is the monetary jurisdiction which the court has in simple ways.
Hmm.
So you go there. So this comes to civil law, then criminal law, family law, then consumer. For example, you buy something from Amazon or whatever,
Hmm.
and they deliver you a bad product, and later on they say that no, we are not going to give you any refund. Then that becomes a consumer court case. Then you go to consumer forum. So therefore, whatever is the problem, we tend to show you a correct way and a correct forum.
Hmm.
Because if you plead your case before a wrong forum, then that court, even though hearing your case, cannot pass any order.
Hmm.
So therefore, choosing the correct forum and identifying your problem and identifying the correct forum is
Hmm.
very much important.
So doing that is the lawyer's job, right?
Yes, completely. People are not expected, as I earlier also said, you tell us the problem, we'll give you the solution to our full capacity.
Right.
Sometimes it is not expected that lawyers should know everything. But because law is such a field
Hmm.
that you will have to keep on reading every day there's a new thing.
Hmm.
And there's no stop to it, or there is no end goal that this is the syllabus and the law ends here.
Right.
Everything is governed by acts. There are numerous laws, and we being human being, it is not expected that you should know everything at all. But we know ways to find a correct solution.
Hmm.
So even if any problem which enters our door, it is completely unidentified by us.
Hmm.
We have the means and ways to find the solution to it by a correct forum, by the books. So
Hmm.
therefore, we can definitely give you a solution which is proper and which is applicable to your case and which would benefit you in the long run.
That's brilliant. So, Amol, when you take up a case and you've prepared it and everything, just walk us through a day in the court and how exactly it works for you. And the
No,
fact that you're a new lawyer and, obviously you use more technology. So just integrate that in your answer too.
that's a good question because as far as I remember, initially we used to deal only into papers,
Hmm.
and we used to have these huge briefs which we had to carry to the court. But
Hmm.
nowadays, iPads have come in,
Hmm.
and at our Bombay Bar Association also, everybody has an iPad to themselves,
Hmm.
and everything is scanned, paperless. And thanks to that move of making everything paperless, so that we only have the burden of arguing the matter and putting our brains completely into the matter and the merits of the matters.
Hmm.
So therefore, now the technology has increased.
Hmm.
And in court, as you asked, so initially we have to start working in the morning itself. The court starts at 11. Bombay High Court starts at 11. And morning by 8, 7, or even before that, sometimes we can't sleep the entire night because the next day we have an important hearing.
Hmm.
So once you're prepared with everything, you have to day prior, you have to revise everything, whatever you have prepared about the next day's case.
Hmm.
So 11, the court starts, and you can't miss that deadline of because at the Bombay High Court, whatever matters you want to get listed, you have to mention it before the appropriate judges.
Hmm.
So in order to mention that, you have to be present at least 10:45 in
Okay.
the Bombay High Court. So once you mention the matters, the judges hear your urgency, then they give you a date that your matter will be listed. And once those matters are listed, you have to prepare a board. Like today I have 5 matters, today I have 10 matters, today I have 6 matters. And each matters at the Bombay High Court has its serial number.
Hmm.
So therefore, if even if it is in different courts, you can just figure out that these matters will come in the first half, these matter will come in the second half.
Hmm.
And overall, the day is quite hectic. You have to keep on running around here and there
Hmm.
and argue the cases whenever they are listed before the concerned court. And once the sometimes the matter takes time to get disposed of, sometimes the matter is disposed of within one day itself. It depends on the matter. So the entire day is quite hectic. All you have to deal with is your clerks, your Xerox guy, papers, your juniors, judges, clerks. That's it. You just have to keep on running around and argue cases at different whenever the cases reach.
Hmm.
Argue the case because sometimes the clients also come to observe the case. They are very uh, excited to hear and very intrigued to know what is going on in their matters. So sometimes you have to deal with the clients also.
Hmm.
But the only window which we do not have over there is talking or explaining anything to the clients, because then we are running around and we have to argue 10 cases in a day. So whatever we just tell each and every client that even if you come to the court, talk to us in the evening,
Hmm.
because our entire day belongs to the judges and the honorable court. We have to do justice to the brief.
Hmm.
And if we waste time in talking to you, then we might just miss your matter itself, which we had to argue. So
That.
therefore, even the clients understand that and they never disturb us. So the overall day in a court is very tiring, even physically, mentally.
Hmm.
And sometimes when the case involves any child custody matter, which are emotional cases, like every time it cannot be by the book. Sometimes the justice has to be done beyond the books also,
Hmm.
and that is what the courts do. And when it comes to custody matters, child custody matters, all those cases are very much emotionally draining for us also, I must say. because even we get connected emotionally to the matter, and we have been taught that you have to look at a matter by its merit and you have to do complete justice from yourself. But sometimes when you invest a lot of time in a matter, you tend to get attached to the matter. And when it comes to in my experience as of today, the child custody matters have been quite emotionally draining also, because then sometimes when the mother is given a complete custody of the child, we think about fathers, what is going to happen to him, because the child is a biological child of the father too. And even if the custody is given to father, then we think about the mother too.
Hmm.
Whatever happens in the courts, it happens for good. And the judges are so trained and so well equipped with everything, because they see these cases day in and day out.
Hmm.
So therefore, the orders which they pass, the solutions which they come up with, are something which are very exciting in a day. Very
Hmm.
exciting to see.
Hmm.
For us, getting to see a different side of the matter or different solution of a matter is
Hmm.
very much exciting, because the judges which are sitting at the Bombay High Court, they have experience of too many years,
Hmm.
and their experience shows by the solutions which they give. Sometimes the parties do not agree to a solutions, but when they give a solution, it is much more balanced than what we could give. So
Hmm.
that is the most exciting part, and that is how you gain experience in this field, by learning through them. And it's a continuous learning process at the every day. And in Bombay High Court, there are certain cases which go on for quite a while,
Hmm.
which are referred to a larger bench. So hearing senior counsels argue is a treat, and how the judges deal with the questions which are put forth and in a brief, and to come up with a solution to it, spending hours and hours together, giving lot many judgments, too many judgments, and finding which judgment is applicable to your case is also very much important. You cannot keep on citing hundreds of judgments which are not applicable to you.
Hmm.
So therefore, that is a very exciting part, and whichever courtroom you enter, you get to learn something different.
Hmm.
So there is no spare time which we get in the court. And even if we do, I tend to go and sit in some courtroom to hear what the matters are going on,
Hmm.
because that's a learning process altogether. And as of today, our age is of learning.
Amol, I'm so intrigued to ask you this question. I have to. You're a first generation lawyer. Most of the time, people say that just like the doctors, it runs in the family. Uh, how would you assess your own experience as a first generation lawyer, and what were some of the challenges that you think made you stronger and better as a lawyer?
For many, being a first generation lawyer, you have to put in more efforts, I must say.
Hmm.
Some people might differ, but then it's my opinion completely.
Yes.
In this field, I basically deal into litigation, and every day we have to go to courts. So I am not into firm litigation, or I don't sit in an office and work. So my everyday job is to plead the case before the court.
Hmm.
So my blessing in this field was my seniors,
Hmm.
and getting good seniors. All the seniors are good. They teach you some or the other thing,
Hmm.
and even if they don't have time, because they are called seniors for a fact that they are seniors in the field and they have too much of work, they can't sit and teach you everything. But you get to learn a lot by just observing them, how they present a case,
Hmm.
and how to present a case in a very simplified way. When it comes to trial court, how to argue. When it comes to high court, how to argue. If you go to the Supreme Court, the window of argument is quite less,
Hmm.
because the Supreme Court, having so much burden of all the cases,
Hmm.
they are well versed with the brief before even you start arguing.
Hmm.
So therefore, you get a very less window. So by observing all the seniors, you tend to learn everything. And in first generation, having no support from the family, because my father is not a lawyer, he's a doctor.
Hmm.
He cannot guide me in this field because he has not seen courts. So
Yes.
basically, getting a good guidance was quite a tough thing. And everybody has a different opinion about everything. So it is on you which solution is applicable to you and which is helpful for you. You take that and you move forward.
Hmm.
And in my initial days, all I endeavored to do was helping people and getting to argue the matters. Financial aspect is a different thing, because then once you are well versed with everything, once you are capable of doing things, even financially you are sorted after a point of time. But the learning phase is still going on, I must say. But then the challenges were there. The basic guidance, if my father would have been a lawyer, then I would have been well versed with all kinds of things which would have come in our way. But one good thing about that is I was the one who figured out everything on my own. And
Hmm.
once a person figures out a problem on his own without any help, he is
Yes.
not going to forget that problem, and he is
Hmm.
not going to forget the solution which he sought, which was
Yes.
correct at that point of time. And later on, he won't blame anybody that this was the decision or solution which I took if it goes wrong.
Hmm.
So the risk taking factor was too much in my case also.
Hmm.
And until and unless I put that foot forward, I did not know the impediments which were going to come in my way.
Hmm.
So gaining faith of all the briefing lawyers, giving good results, presenting a case before the court in such a way that even the for us it's a blessing that if a court knows you, that this guy argues good, this guy puts his case properly with all the documentation is perfect, your drafting is good, and all the lawyers will you will definitely hear all the lawyers say that drafting is an art.
Hmm.
So drafting is something which you, even if you teach somebody,
Hmm.
getting a proper draft which the court will understand in 5 seconds is quite difficult, and it's an art. And I must agree to that, because
Hmm.
when I started drafting, I was not sure as to how to start, and that is how the basic thing, like that was the first impediment, like it starts how to start with the story, how to open up your argument, how to put something in the brief that would make the judge understand that this is our problem.
Hmm.
So in all our petitions we have one paragraph in the top which we have to put, like which has to describe the entire case in short in one para.
Hmm.
Later on you have to give your brief facts in the at the Bombay High Court. So therefore that basic problems of drafting, guidance, how to present the case, I had to observe all the seniors, learn from them,
Hmm.
give it time, give it patience, because other than my seniors I had no guidance at all. So therefore I was completely dependent on them, as in you teach me properly, I should be the best in this field, I need to understand the problem completely. And sometimes even though the clients explain us the problems, I tend to tell them that no, I'm not understanding, you explain it to me again,
Hmm.
because I want to break it down to the simplest form which I can put it before the court.
Hmm.
In one of the lectures of the judiciary, Justice Qureshi
Hmm.
had made a statement that we are not impressed by your flamboyant English in the drafts and anything. We just want to understand your problem, because you have
Right.
come before us for a solution. And if you're not able to put up your problem properly over here and
Hmm.
using all these kind of words which would take us time to understand what is this, so might as well have a simple language, but you have to have that fluency and
Hmm.
clarity in your problem. So once you put that, and that was the major training exercise which I had to go through.
Hmm.
But I am quite thankful to all my seniors in my journey who believed in me, and somewhere down the line they thought that this guy will make big in the field, and they used to constantly teach me new thing every day.
Hmm.
Currently also, whenever we meet, whenever we have a get together, I get to learn something or the other which is new for me every time. So which is why teachers being teachers, they are worshipped for the same reason, because they definitely know more than you.
Hmm. Walk us
Yeah.
through some of the most satisfying experiences where you felt, wow, this is why I became a lawyer.
Oh, a very, very good question. So there were few cases where it was very much important for us to, get orders from the court. So, for example, this one case where a senior citizen was being harassed completely by the children, and we had to get an eviction order, because then the age of the senior citizen and considering his health issues. When the clients met me, they were like, I asked them, why did you even travel to my office? You would have just called me. I would have come to your place and met you. But they were very much respectable, and they said, "No, sir, you are a lawyer. It is our duty to meet you at your office, and it's our duty to not trouble you much with our problems." I'm like, that's quite sometimes. So for them, getting an order from the court was very much important. And when the court saw the harassment which was going on, the court definitely ordered an eviction in that matter. So the content, the smile, the hug which that client gave me, the senior citizen, and he also blessed me with saying that you are like my son, and we were not expecting this to happen, but then you made it happen for us. And now we were not expecting this to happen with our own children. But sometimes bad news comes without knocking the door. So that was the thing. In that case, I was very much content that right now my clients are happy, and more than happy, their further twilight years of their life would be very much peaceful. And after that, after the court's order, also I told them that even if you need any other help in your day-to-day activities, if you face any problems, now that you don't have your children to help you because you have evicted them, they might just not uh, consider you in their life now. So if you have considered me as your son, you just very frankly just give me a call. Everything will be solved. Don't worry about it. So sometimes it gives you a good happiness that people are happy, and this is what we are and what our job is. And this one time there was a there was a case which was a criminal case, but I can't give the entire details about it. But the victim had suffered so much at the hands of the accused, and getting a conviction in that matter, giving justice to the matter, and cross examinations and everything, the evidence, it had a lot of medical jurisprudence also in it. So it was a serious offense case. I can't give the entire details about it. But then when we got the judgment of conviction, the accused were convicted of the crime of which they were accused of. Because until and unless they are convicted, everybody is innocent, is what we believe. So once the evidence was put forth and everything was done, it took many years to get a conviction in that matter. But when we got that, she was the one who was the most happiest person, and she said, "Today I have justice," because getting to justice is a pathway which clients and lawyers have to walk onto. And finally, when everything is presented very correctly, we got a judgment in her favor. So she was quite content in that on that day. So doing the very thing which makes me happy is doing justice to any brief. I won't say that this matter is serious, so I am going to put my 100% in this. This matter is serious, I am going to put my 100% in it. Let it be a very small matter or big matter or whatever it is. It is my duty and job to put my 100% and do justice to the brief, because our job is to argue the matter before the court and present it in a way which is completely understandable by the judge, and which we think that we might get a positive order because of our presentation. So once we do our job 100%. So whatever might be the outcome, we are satisfied that we have given our 100% in this. So if you are unprepared and if you go to the court, then that is not the excuse which lawyers can give. So whenever, as if I may move on to the previous question, how is the day? When we come home, also we everything about the next day is going on in our head. So sometimes even friends, we cannot hear our friends because we are constantly thinking what we have to argue tomorrow. So it's quite a hectic job to do. But still, once you get a positive order, or even if you get a negative order which is making justice to the brief and to the parties, good for us. That's not a problem. So it's quite a satisfying job to do once the result comes. So it's like an exam. If you pass, then only you are happy. But if you fail, you have to try again. So if you fail in trial court, you go to the high court. If you fail in high court, you go to the Supreme Court. But someday or the other, justice happens with the brief, and every brief comes with a fate. So whatever might be the problem, the judiciary is amazing. They are very much capable of solving each and every problem.
Hmm.
The only thing which our judiciary is facing is the burden of cases, because you can't just take each and every case and dispose it off in one day without looking into the papers. So our
Yes.
judges are doing amazing job is what I feel. And because of that, it gives us a satisfaction that we are arguing, and we this is a training part of us, and we are arguing before stalwarts of law, and that is my blessing in disguise. So we get to learn a lot, and in the I would say it's tiring, but it's after a positive day. There's no the getting a positive order from the court is the happiest day in our life. So the client is happy, you are happy, and the presentation went well. You get a positive result. So everything is quite, quite happy and content. So that is when you say that this is for this purposes we have taken the degree of law,
Yeah.
and we could contribute to the society at large.
Yes. And I think this is one aspect of a lawyer's life which not many of us think about. Because there is
Yeah.
also a stereotypical image of the lawyer as someone who's just minting money at the expense of the client. We don't really think about how much effort goes behind every case, preparing it, preparing the brief, and making a presentation. And the fact that you might have 10 listed on a certain day or 6 listed on a certain day,
Yes, yes.
and
You
you need
have
to
to argue
prepare
all
for
of
each.
them.
So
Yeah.
that's really amazing.
No excuses. No excuses. You
Yes.
have to do that because the work which goes behind a brief is too much.
Hmm.
And until and unless sometimes I all the lawyers will agree to me in this case. Sometimes when we are stuck on a doubt,
Hmm.
we think about that doubt even in our sleep. Because until and unless it gets cleared, and sometimes we tend to go through so many judgments and sometimes we don't remember, but sometimes at a very random stage it strikes that this was the solution in this and this xyz matter.
Huh.
So therefore once the solution clicks, that is when we are content and we can sleep
Hmm.
peacefully. And it happens a lot with us. The definitely a lawyer charges as per his credentials and his practice, but then the financial aspect is a very 20% aspect, if you can see in in these cases.
Hmm.
The work which goes behind and the amount of people who are involved, the amount of softwares which are involved, research team is involved. So because tomorrow the client is definitely going to ask you that we appointed you for a reason, we are paying you for a reason. So we are appointed for giving the results. And about people, they will keep on talking that people earn because they have not seen what goes inside a court and how the lawyer
Yes.
functions in an entire day.
Absolutely.
So that is also acceptable. Like people will definitely say something which they observe. So that is their observing power. Then
Hmm.
we get at their defect.
So Amol, we can just talk a little bit about the person who is a lawyer. What are some of the qualities that that person needs as an individual, as a human being? And the other aspect of what are some of the skills and knowledge and values that should be like developed by a law student, let's say.
About the qualities, you have to be a voracious reader because the more you read, the more you gain knowledge about a particular topic.
Hmm.
And reading, your consistency, and your will to find a solution to a problem, and not giving up, and available 24/7 for any problem to deal with. Because in litigation, you tend to get phone calls of clients at 3 at night, 4 at night. So they call you for a reason because you are competent enough in handling the problem and you can solve the problem. So being available, being aware, and those are the qualities, and being honest about the profession, because being honest to your brief, your profession is very much important in our field. These were the few qualities which I could think of as of now. There might be more, but and as far as the skills are concerned, in my opinion, the skills are, if you know a problem, then you directly give a solution to it. But if you don't know a problem, take time, develop a solution to that effect, ask your seniors, ask an expert in that,
Hmm.
and come up with a solution which is completely legitimate.
Hmm.
So that is what is expected. So the skill of finding a correct solution
Hmm.
to a problem which has come to your door is very much important. That is the first thing which I would say, because choosing a correct solution is very much important. The results are completely a later part, and that's the last resort. But start, if your start is wrong, your end is going to be definitely wrong. So if your start is correct and if you're headed the right way
Hmm.
with the right guidance, then finding the right solution and right way is very much important in this field.
Hmm.
And other than that, you have to be consistent. Uh, you have to be a good researcher, and you have to know all the avenues where you can research. For example, SCC, Manupatra, there are many journals. You have to know where to research, what problems to research where, and all what all the judgments are given and what judgments are reported.
Hmm.
And you have to keep on taking reference to the Supreme Court judgments every time,
Hmm.
because that's the law of land, and you have to keep on referring. So every day Supreme Court has a new judgment to pass.
Hmm.
You have to be well aware of that. And sometimes if you're not, at least when you're dealing with a brief, you research about it completely
Hmm.
and understand the latest position of it, and then only argue the case.
What about the communication skills, like in very elementary terms, in terms of an education, let's say, someone who is a law student, how should they refine their drafting? And because you're a practitioner, so just walk us through that.
uh, Drafting is something which happened to me with practice.
Hmm.
So a law student, our colleges, I passed out from ILS.
Hmm.
Our colleges had moot court competitions. Moot court competitions are they give you an imaginary problem, and
Hmm.
then you have to argue it out from both the sides,
Hmm.
against and for. So that is when your brain is put to work
Hmm.
as to, if you have figured out one side of the arguments, how will you figure out the second side of the argument if
Hmm.
you are against?
Hmm.
So that those are exercises which colleges do. All kinds of all the colleges have moot court competitions. Even there are moot court competitions of national level, international level. So there are judgment writing,
Hmm.
and I'm sure there must be some exercises for drafting also in the colleges as of now.
Hmm.
But once the law students, the first thing which a law student needs to do is identify as to
Hmm.
what the problem is before him.
Hmm.
Because whenever an imaginary problem is given to a law student, they tend to create two, three, four problems. These are the issues before me. Like there are four issues before me. But which is the main issue on which other issues are dependent is very much important for a law student to figure out.
Hmm.
And the very basic thing is understanding the problem. Sometimes the law students, they read a brief and then they think to themselves that this is the problem according to me, but when they discuss it with somebody else or some senior, they get to hear a different perspective to that matter. So my basic suggestion would be understanding the issue and then finding a correct solution before a correct forum. Keep on reading and participating in the competitions, because that is the time to make mistakes. In the real world, you are not given that opportunity of making mistakes in the court.
Hmm.
So over in our courts, mistakes are not no excuses. At least from the lawyers, clients can definitely do.
Hmm.
But I would definitely suggest all the students that take parts in all the competitions.
Hmm.
Even if you go wrong, even if you lose the case, even if you lose the competition, it's okay.
Hmm.
Whatever you learn from that competition, from that experiences, next time you would be better. In our college days, I remember I was low on confidence. I could not talk for an entire minute.
Hmm.
And if you can see now, we have been talking for an hour at least.
Yes,
So it
actually.
develops. So once you gain the knowledge of it, once you have the confidence of talking, it develops in college only. And colleges are having amazing curriculums when it comes to extracurricular activities too in law colleges. So so people are scared. Even I was scared. I remember my first moot, I almost fainted. So, but the next moot, I got a rank.
Hmm.
So that was a learning problem. And so once you participate in all the competitions and everything, it's a learning process which the law student has to do. Other than the books and giving papers and exams, that is one thing which you have to do.
Yeah.
But one optional thing is that participate in all these competitions, because that is when you get to know the real side of law also. Of course, when you come to the court, everything is different.
Hmm.
But at least you have that confidence of, identifying the problem and putting it before the court.
Hmm.
Because everything, every problem ends up in court, be it commercial, civil, criminal, family.
Hmm.
So once you have that knack of identifying the problem, you can at least find a proper solution to it.
So it's been such a wonderful conversation with you, Amol. Before we conclude, is there something you would like to say from the lawyer to the community?
Don't be scared of courts and lawyers, and always have a good lawyer by your side every time,
Hmm.
because no matter when the problem comes, your best friend and your family won't be there, but a lawyer would be there to help you.
Yes. And Amol is one of the best that we can vouch for from our own experience, in the CLAT.
I am thankful for you.
All the very best to you, Amol. Thank you so much for being on Ek Samvaad at Arunima Ankuran. It was such an absolute delight talking to you. And I think we got to see the other side of the lawyer's life, which we don't usually see. Thank you for walking us through some of your own experiences. We wish you all the very best. Keep shining.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I'm quite grateful for you making this podcast today and understanding the lawyer's perspective of his life.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Amol. All the best.
Thank you.